This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 401, an excerpt from the Audiobook Essential, Essays by the Minimalists by Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus, and I'm Justin Malik. This is normally where I read to you from the best blogs on the planet. Today's a little weird. I'm on a different microphone and not in my usual recording space, but this is a good thing. I finally finished the audiobook, Everything That Remains for the Minimalists. I want to cry. It took way longer than expected. It's a beast of a book, in a good way. But it's finally done. I can't even imagine what it's like writing the book and being done with it, because just narrating it and editing it and re-narrating it and re-editing it felt like a massive project. But anyway, I finished today, so I'm kind of celebrating and taking yet another day to play you excerpts from their other book that I did for them. Now, don't go out and look for it yet, though, because they need to submit it and have it approved and all that stuff. I'll let you know when it's available. Or if you're listening in the future, sometime after January 2017, then you can check it out, and I'd hope it's available by then. So with that, here's more from the Minimalists as we optimize your life. An excerpt from the Audiobook Essential, Essays by the Minimalists by Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus. Unteachers. The more experienced we are, the more unlearning we must do. We enter this world as creators, curious to discover ways to express ourselves visually, auditorily, kinesthetically. Over time, though, we are taught to be more realistic, to be safe and reasonable and normal. We never wanted to be safe or reasonable. Maybe we wanted to be normal, but today's normality template is far from what most of us had in mind at age 5. Growing up, we all just wanted to be ourselves. That was normal. Soon, we were placed in a classroom, told to stand in line, speak when spoken to, and prescribed ADHD medication if we got out of line. This methodology worked great for creating factory workers and farmers, which seemed ideal when 90% of the population was either the former or the latter. Today, however, most people are neither factory workers nor farmers, and even those positions have changed radically in the past few decades. And yet we're all graced with the assembly line mentality, systematically programmed for compliance, expected to adhere to external standards while disregarding whatever our own internal normal was. During this process, our creativity is quashed and replaced with a vast emptiness, a desire to create even though we're told we're not creative. It's no coincidence we start focusing more on consuming around the same time, looking for any material thing to fill the void. Quote, "All children are artists. The problem is how to remain an artist once he grows up," unquote. Picasso had this observation a century ago, and unfortunately these words ring even truer in today's post-industrial world, a world where our vocations no longer ape the form of creation, a la farming and factoring, and thus the gap between creation and consumption widens as we attempt to buy what no one can possibly sell, individual creativity. The strange thing about this antiquated system is that most of its gatekeepers, government officials, school administrators, and teachers, aren't operating out of malice. Their reaction is birthed from apathy, comfort, or both. Many teachers are just as disenchanted with the whole mess as we are, although they often feel like just another faceless cog in the wheel, powerless amongst the tyranny of bureaucracy. Thankfully, there are alternatives. For children, there's homeschooling, unschooling, and wonderful programs like 826 Valencia. For adults, the options are endless. There are books, blogs, classes, conferences. Plus, there are scores of people like us, the minimalists, people who've rejected the system and aligned their lives with their values and beliefs, who function not as teachers but as unteachers, helping people unlearn the bullshit they've acquired over the years so they too can become unteachers and help further the spread of creativity and ideas. None of these alternatives are easy, but then again, it is way too easy to stand in line, to raise a hand when we want to speak, to blindly follow authority, to capitulate, and above all, to comply. Screw that. The easy route is easy because it's a vacuum, devoid of meaning, vacant. It also lacks innovation and beauty and all the unspeakable qualities that make life exhilarating and worth living. The scenic route takes longer to travel, but the experience is worth it. Also worth reading, Seth Godin's free manifesto, Stop Stealing Dreams, at stopstealingdreams.com. Un-American Dream. The American Dream. The white picket fence, the large suburban home, the luxury car, the big screen TVs glowing in multiple rooms, the safe, reasonable 9 to 5, the corner office, the suit and tie, the white-collar pride, the blue-collar pride, the weekends off, the paid holidays, the occasional vacation, the fringe benefits. In exchange for the daily grind, the nose to the grindstone, the rush hour traffic, the punching the clock, the cubicle farms, the spreadsheet eye strain, the much anticipated lunch break, the inbox overflow, the arbitrary goals, the late nights at the office, the empty platitudes, the office gossip, the quote-unquote productivity, the downsizing, the doing more with less, the mounds of bills, the second job, the credit card spending, the debt, the second mortgage, the beer gut, the midlife crisis, the retirement at 65, the volatile stock market, the retirement at 67 or 72 or 75, the death before retirement, the unyielding tiredness, the emptiness, the depression, the unshakable discontent. You can keep your American dream. Give us back our time, our freedom, and our lives. You just listened to an excerpt from the audiobook Essential, Essays by the Minimalists by Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus. And I should be back with fresh content tomorrow. Thank you for being here and for all your support while I try to do 4 podcasts and 3 audiobooks. It's been crazy, and I appreciate you listening. It means so much. I'm kind of emotional because all 3 audiobooks are done, and it took a long time, probably like 9 months, which might sound absurd, but, well, I should have expected it with all the other podcasts I'm making. I just hope you're benefiting from this. So that's it for today. I hope you're having a great weekend, and I'll see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.
Hey, this is Dan from the Optimal Finance Daily podcast, which is a lot like this show, except more focused on personal finance. Justin handpicks the best posts he can find from blogs and authors like Ramit Sethi, Mr. Money Mustache, and more, and I read them to you 5 days a week. So if you enjoy this podcast, come on over and subscribe to Optimal Finance Daily too. And together, we'll optimize your financial life.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode, and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift, as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.